Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? This is Lene. Y'all seeing me because I'm about to change up my look. So I decided that I was just going to go on ahead and show everybody a preview of y'all see. Now, see, this is all newly grown hair. I tell y'all, I grow hair on people. This is all newly grown hair since May of last year. So, and it's shriveled up. So, yeah, but it's all newly grown hair out of my head since May of last year. And so that's what I do. I'm the hair growth specialist, even though I don't do all the beautiful things to my hair that I do to my clients. Um, I think I got my days crossed. I launched my baby this week, and it's called Ascend, the Power of I Am. Many people don't know I'm a spiritual life coach. And so, in being a spiritual life coach, I help people transform their lives into what they want them to be. That's always been my calling. As a young woman, people would always call me for advice. I've never not been called for advice. Call letters. You are listening to the Lene Gray Show on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's first global community radio station. Because someone was like, "Oh, there's another one now." Well, don't nobody care about that one. I'm just playing. Ain't no rivalry stuff going on. But Kansas City's first global community radio station. You're most likely listening to the Lene Gray Show on Facebook at KUAW-LPFM 985. You can also listen to all of our programming, including the Lene Gray Show, by typing in the letters KUAW. You can hear us live right now on Twitter and Patreon. And also by typing in the letters KUAW into TuneIn. That's where you can listen to us. Twitter and Patreon, you can watch us. TuneIn, you can listen to us. And we have a KUAW page on Instagram as well. Our email address. You want to show, you want to, even, I'm going to say this, even if you have questions, you have guest suggestions, because a lot of us hosts, we don't know people. We don't know the people you know. So if you have guest suggestions, send your guest suggestion to the email KUAW985@gmail.com, and we will definitely, they will get the message to us and say, hey, can your show take this person? Can your show, or can all your shows interview this person? So a lot of people are like, oh, well, nobody ever reaches out to me, or I have a business, no one ever calls me for anything. Well, call in. I mean, send your email, send and say, hey, I want to be on someone's show. The telephone number is 816-599-6893. Our website, just in case someone doesn't have social media, our website is kuaw.org. And we just want to thank you and let you all know that we still have an ongoing station fundraiser that's happening right now. The video's paused. Oh, okay. But I don't know what's going on, y'all. We have an ongoing station fundraiser that's happening right now. And it's going to be ongoing. It's going to be continuing. And it gives us station upgrades. Like when we first came, it was really dark. And then we got the lights. And then we got extra cameras. And now we have a camera sitting right here in our face that tells me I need to get some of the chunk off of my face if we're going to be activating this camera. Because this camera is like right there. But we got extra mics. We have a new board. We have a whole bunch of new stuff since I premiered on KUAW the first week in April of 2018. And so I'm just asking everyone to support. $5 makes a difference, y'all. You can go through PayPal, go to the website, KUAW.org, and click on the donate tab. And you can donate $5 a month, $3 a month through PayPal. Any amount helps because it adds up and it helps the station to do upgrades and, to be able to do a better job at bringing you visually and audibly more quality programming, because we already got the quality programming, y'all. We got that down pat. If there are some people who I know who don't have social media, tell them to go to KUAW.org and they can watch it live there as well. They can watch all the shows live on KUAW.org. Okay, so I missed last night. I mean, not last night, last week. I missed last week. And, but one of the things I wanted to talk about, and I think I got my, but it's okay, because Zoom has been messing up all day. I had several sessions scheduled, and I couldn't do my Zoom calls, so, because I had an appointment with Miss Anita Dixon tonight, but I came in the studio and they said Zoom has been messing up, and we missed the studio missed a very important meeting, Zoom call in with the mayor, because Zoom has been messing up. Zoom's been messing up for me too, so I'm not even going to stress over it. But I decided to start talking about some things, and I don't want people to think I'm playing down the situation. Let me first put this disclaimer out there. Our young black people, our old black people, our militant people, our black people, your job is to survive the encounter. That is your job. That is your absolute job, is to survive the encounter. I watched the Ahmoud. Oh, good. We got Miss Anita Dixon on the phone. Awesome. Awesome. I'm so happy about that, because I thought we were not going to be able to get Miss Dixon. Let me know when she's cued in. Hey, Miss Anita Dixon, are you there?
I'm here.
All righty, then. You can hear us?
It's a little hard to hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Not much better. Let me see.
Do I need to get on the mic, you think? Okay.
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, yeah, I had to get on the mic.
Okay.
All righty, because I was using a wireless mic, so I figured I had to get on a regular mic. How are you doing?
Honey, I have been in quarantine. Very interesting situation.
It is an interesting situation. It is so good to hear your voice, so good to hear from you. And I know every time you call in, you got something to say.
Well, well, I have been doing some very deep observations. I've been writing grants. You know, when you say, oh, when I have the time to do this, have time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just cranked out 4 in the last 2 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, everybody's been having a lot of time to do some amazing things.
But I've been noticing 2 things. And that's what I was telling you about not too long ago, about one, what I call the culture vulture syndrome. That's taking over quite a bit of funding and various things in the city. And then the other one is what people think are going to happen to like these big city jobs and positions and legislative positions and stuff after this is quote unquote over.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So pick a subject. Where do I start?
Let's
on the research and the stuff I've been doing.
Yes.
To start looking at this and saying to people, as a consultant, people think that, you should give of yourself freely.
That's true.
Well, I'll just call Anita.
Right. And I experienced that too.
But right now, I really feel the need to give of myself freely because there are people out here sacrificing their lives.
Sure are.
I have my oldest daughter is an FNP, family nurse practitioner in Dallas.
Okay.
And, they put her back on the front line.
Oh, no.
On this situation.
Wow.
And we're looking at doctors going in and dying. And I'm saying to myself, well, Hell, I got to tell people what's going to be happening once this is over.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, Lynette, you look at the newspaper the other day, right there on the front page, it's like Kansas City is going to be cutting at least 300 jobs in
I
City Hall.
saw that. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's going to be more than that.
Oh, really?
There's going to be more than that because they're going to have to trim this budget so ridiculously. They're going to have to, if you notice, everybody's going to Zoom. And so this technology has always been here to do this.
Yeah, it has been. It definitely, yeah.
Okay? It's been here to do this. People don't need to be spending gas and stuff, but I'm saying to myself, okay, what are they going to do with these people to have these high-powered, six-figure jobs at City Hall whose names you don't know, who really don't do anything?
Uh-oh.
Okay? You got the head of this, who's the supervisor over 30 people, and the 30 people below him do more work than he's done.
Come on now.
20 years.
Come on now.
Okay? You got city clerks who know more about the process of jurisdiction and where it's when was there than you do the person who's supposedly the assistant city manager.
Come on now.
Okay, so where's the trimming going to start first? Well, look at the essential personnel that we have who's out here on the front line. The water people are still working.
Mm-hmm.
Fully
Yep.
staffed.
Yep. Fully staffed. Mm-hmm.
Fully staffed. You got your clerks who cover their emails and everything, but they're at City Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And they're posting all that stuff to the websites and dealing with everything else is being done remotely.
Right.
Why do we need these people?
Absolutely. Come on now. Come
why
on
do we
now.
need these people? I sat in, and so this is not going to be the way it's approached. You know, it's going to be approached. And anybody out there listening needs to understand I'm probably talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to keep your job, if you're going to make yourself a position and keep your job, if you're a city worker and you're tenured and all that other business, you're going to have to find a way to be relevant to your community.
Thank you.
Because if you're black or a person of color or something like, because I differentiate between the two.
Yep, I do too.
You black or you a person of color. We ain't all people of color.
Right. Come on now.
But if you're that, then you're going to have to show remotely and through virtual activity or direct contact with your community that you are relevant to your position.
Absolutely.
Because this is where they're going to start testing. You know, but if you can see what's happening in Jackson County and the state, Jackson County legislators and all this other business, we'll get to that in a minute because that's ridiculous.
Ooh, that is, yes,
you know,
that's a mess.
You get to hire your friends to get $1 million consulting contract to tell me something you don't know nothing about.
Come on now. You better
you
tell the truth.
You don't know nothing about these people living under bridges.
Come on.
And trying to make a living, trying to find a place to wash their hands. I'm seeing people wearing wearing plastic trash bags, trying to stay safe.
Yep, and that's dangerous.
Living under bridges, taking food, and long miles of lines of people trying to pick up turkeys and anything to keep their families moving.
Yes.
And if you still have a position, understand that if you are not relevant to your community, if you cannot get out there and put your hands on at least 20 people who know exactly who you are and what you do,
come on now,
you're going to be the first one they ask.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to be making too much money. What do you do? I can personally, if I would, name like 10 people like this. That's City Hall.
You know what? And you're absolutely right, because when I know someone who used to work there and she transferred out of that job to another city, and when she told me,
I can't hear you again, honey.
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're kind of low again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No.
Hello?
I can hear you just a little bit, not very well.
Not very well. Can you hear me now? How's that?
We'll do our best.
Okay. But I know someone who used to work for City Hall, and she was, I'm not going to give the position that she was in because it's going to tell, because everybody knows she left for another
Right.
city. But she was explaining to me that the execs in each of the sections, because they did not move up from the clerk position, they really know nothing about what they're heading. She said they don't hire, they don't hire from within like they should. They hire friends and family members and people who they went to school with from out of town to come in, and they know nothing about the department that they're heading. And she said you'll be very, very, very hard pressed to find someone who, if you really got to asking them questions about the department, they can truly answer the questions and not say, oh, well, let me get back with you. Whereas if she was there for almost, I'm not even going to mention the years because people will know because she just left, but she was there for several years and could never move up in position, even though she had gone to school and she was looking at the people who were getting hired in executive positions and looking at what type of schooling they had. And so that right there, when you go to school and you try to get yourself up into that position, but a whole bunch of favoritism keeps you from doing your job in the highest level that you can do it. And they've got people in there who don't know nothing about nothing, and they getting away with crooked stuff. I mean,
honey,
it's.
Do you know how many times the city of Kansas City has been sued successfully for discrimination in the last 5 years?
I bet you it's astounding. I'm pretty sure it is.
9 times.
That's crazy. Successfully.
9 times. We've spent almost $5 million.
Wow.
So my question continues to be this. We are in one of the worst pandemics that the world has seen since 1918.
Yes, we are.
If things continue, and I've done this extensive work on how the community, how the country got itself back, how FDR did all these machinations, how the healthcare system that was nowhere near as sophisticated as then as it is now. But it wasn't until 1925 that it abated, actually.
Right. Absolutely.
So
you're right.
Opening up this city and everything after 3 to 4 months is a pressure move.
Yep.
And I understand it, though. But here we have $54 million that Kansas City could access from Jackson County to alleviate the problems of business. To alleviate, well, not even all of them, but some of them, to alleviate testing problems that we're having.
Right.
To open up various offices and stuff that could work as hospitals and various things like that. Food pantries could be. We need this money, and the county legislators are playing games.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
They hire former Mayor Sly James. I don't know if he's been hired, but he's on the task force.
Yeah, he's on the task force. Yeah.
That spells is consultant.
Right.
Which means somebody's getting paid.
Because whenever you see the word consultant, it's never free.
Okay, I get that. But you're playing games with people's lives. This is not your usual politicking.
Come on.
People are dying now. You down there trying to make power moves because somebody pissed you off because they didn't invite you to the barbecue. Or you didn't win the football game like you thought you should have.
Come on.
And now we out here with people coughing and dying and being robbed and all kinds of stuff because you guys are in a pissing match.
Come on now. You better preach.
Are we going to really put up with that? Because if we've got to take 300 people's jobs in the next year to stabilize this city, like him, don't like him, lose, I don't care. We're going to have to get behind the mayor and the city council.
Yes.
And if you guys are playing games with belongs to the people, what are we supposed to do with you when grandma dies and the only reason why she's dead is she could have been tested?
Come on now.
But while y'all over here smoking cigars and drinking on brandy, because you done got somebody, he running now. There's people dying. Dying. So my question to these people downtown, who usually was pretty lackadaisical, how are you going to be relevant to your job as it pertains to your community, as it pertains to what and who you are?
Come on
so
now.
that you can maintain your way through this mess while these idiots, because I can't say it another way, are down here playing games with your salary.
Ooh-wee.
Playing games with the way your children access the digital divide so they can stay educated.
Come on now.
Your lights, your gas, your water, your rent. Open up the city. We deserve, okay, yeah, do that. Okay. But be prepared for the people on the onslaught of sickness.
Absolutely. And the
How
thing.
are you going to make yourself relevant? So as a consultant, that's what I'm asking people.
Right.
Who are you that you would make yourself so relevant that when they go to make that cut, you don't make the cut because they need you? How's that gonna happen? When somebody comes and says, who's going to be the person that we send out into the community? It's not going to be that person from Texas.
You right.
That got the job.
Yep.
Because she knew somebody. Because she doesn't know how to get out there. She doesn't know who's past. Remember they used to ask you when you was a kid, who your mama's people?
Yep. Who's your mama?
People,
who's your people, baby? Yep. Sure did.
Who's your people?
Sure did. And they could tell you all about who you was.
Church, you had to stand up and tell people where you came from.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Anita Dixon. I'm from Kansas City, and I come by way of Christian experience and such and such. You had to do that.
Yep.
You had to do that. People had to find out who you were. Did you have a lineage?
Absolutely.
Because we were a people with no lineage. And we had to turn around and devise and construct that lineage.
You right.
Now what you gonna do when you don't have a lineage? You gonna give this money to some knucklehead who doesn't have a lineage, who's whatever, who don't look like us, is gonna come in the music, lick her little pencil and say, now, tell me what it is that I'm gonna give you.
Exactly.
Because I'm benevolent. Notice how benevolent people get when they got money that ain't theirs.
That ain't even theirs. That belongs to the people to begin with. Right. Come on now.
They want to help. We're just trying to help. Now, let me tell you this. I'm not talking to you because this is stuff I keep pinned up. Okay?
And I love letting you let it out too.
I'm doing my little research on how I'm going to tell people what is important on this culture vulture thing.
Come with it.
I'm bringing it to all these people who want my advice, but do not want to pay me. I'm talking about white folks especially.
Come on now.
Professional people.
Oh,
Anita, you've written UNESCO and you've done these incredible things. Oh, well, we see your resume. Oh, my God, you know this, you know that. Well, we need your help. I had a guy who makes like $400,000 that is trying to get a contract with the city of Kansas City, white guy from the UK, who sends me a 33-page report that he's done for a big company here and asks me to go over the cultural equity part of it. And I sent him back a response. Since this is my particular level of expertise, you want me to go over your stuff to make it relevant. Get that word.
Right.
But I need you to give me $250 an hour.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Minimum 3 hours.
Come on.
Minimum.
And the 33 page is going to be longer than 3.
On this report when you're finished.
Thank you.
He tells me, I thought you would be willing to help because so much of it is pointed to your community. Now, you know what I call it?
Oh.
that giving us a mammy statue.
Yes. Yes.
In 1923, you probably know this. I might have read it on your page. In 1923, a bunch of white women who had, but Daughters of the American Revolution.
Yep. You read that on my page. Yeah. Tell everybody. Go on ahead. Go on ahead. Tell everybody.
I research deeper into it than ever, right?
Mm-hmm. Go on ahead. Tell everybody.
They decided that they were going to commemorate the black mammy in slavery with this statue. Mm-hmm. So they commissioned a white guy, to build the mammy statue. Well, he built the mammy statue with an Aunt Jemima type look, head bag, holding a white baby with her own children grabbing at her legs.
Yep, sure did.
Now, anytime I encounter this kind of thing now, I call it, y'all trying to build a mammy statue.
Yes, they are. I like that. I'm going to start using that. I like that. Because I get approached like that all the time. You right.
To tell me what's best for me.
Yes.
And how this would look for you. Oh, you see, they were going to put it on the Mall of Washington in D.C.
They sure were.
They put it on the Washington Mall.
Yes, they were. Everybody listening, statue. Yes, they were. A mammy statue was going to go.
And that's just what they called it. So, of course, the women of our day, God bless them, Bethune, Ida B. Wells, the Rich Sisters and stuff, with the hair terrible. They all got together and said, give us a break.
Yep, they sure did.
Are you serious?
They sure did. Because they were like, we not slaves no more. Mm-mm. Yep.
Ain't nobody putting up no statue to enslavement, spanking us for taking our own babies away, taking us from being raped and pillaged for 400 years, and then taking our children out of our arms and with our breasts still wet, having to suckle your child.
Right. And oftentimes our children died because they were not being nourished.
That's right. So you think we enjoyed that particular honor? So you're going to build me a statue. Oh, the outrage was wonderful. So that is why, every time I get approached with this, Anita, we want to do something for the black community. Tell us, but we thought we'd do. Instead of asking what is needed. Instead of taking the money that is not yours, and
come on
putting it
now.
into the hands of the capable people.
Come on now.
Okay? Where is the relevance? Where is my relevance as a consultant?
Absolutely.
My relevance is, you see my relevance because you're coming to ask me, but you're trying to make me do a mammy statue.
Come on now. Because they feel like, see, and this is one of the things we have about a minute, and we're going to go to break after I get done saying this. And so be ready when we come back from our 2-minute break. Everybody stay tuned. But the thing about it is the sense of entitlement to tell our people how we should be is so ingrained in them that they realize when they go to try to do something for our people, they never learned about us. They don't know about us. And so then they decide, and I've been done like this. Hey, Lene, I just wanted to find out if I could speak with you for a minute. Sure. Give me a call. And then I'm just listening. I don't say anything. And you get a call, and these people are in a sense trying to, as you say, culture vulture, trying to pull information out of you about the needs and the desires and the wants of your community. And you're like, why don't, and my response is always, well, I suggest you rent a house for a year, come down here and live and see what you would change. It's always, well, that's not feasible. Well, get someone who's close to you, have them rent a house in our area, live here for a year, and see what they would change. Because I'm not going to give you information, because when it's all over said and done with, all you're doing is consulting me so that, like you said, he can get that big money on that contract, sprinkle a little bit in the community, and pocket the rest. But now that I've said that, we're going to go ahead and go to break for 2 minutes. This is the Lene Gray Show on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. We'll see you back in 2 minutes with Miss Anita Dixon. And we're back. Thank you for staying tuned with the Lene Gray Show. We are on air right now, live with Miss Anita Dixon. Y'all, if I can tell y'all, she is an international treasure. Just in case you don't know who I'm talking to. And I kind of got upset because Kansas City is bragging online, and they're also bragging. I saw an actual commercial that talked about us being a UNESCO city. But they did not even have Miss Dixon in the commercial. And she's the person who single-handedly did that. Our city is taking credit for something that Miss Anita Dixon did and then won't even give her credit for it. Wouldn't even put her name in little bitty writing nowhere. I paused the commercial and looking, and they won't even. So she is our city's international treasure. And so when she says, hey, and I even let her call me Lynette, if y'all don't notice. Cause when she said, you fine. Whenever she says, I got something to say, I told her, you got my chair. And so we're back on air right now, and she's addressing now we've moved on to the culture vulture issue. So y'all need to go on ahead and hear what she got to say, because I'm telling you, full of wisdom. And if you listen, you're going to be in the position that she's already been in. She's giving you wisdom of how to handle the situation in the future. Go ahead and listen. Go ahead, Miss Dixon.
Well, it's just like this thing with UNESCO. I had since 2015 been trying to convince the city, really before then, to do a UNESCO designation so that we could be a creative city, UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. It's a very prestigious, very high profile, but it's a very complicated application.
Right.
When I had gone to one of the so-called powers that be that made six figures, who just got ousted, by the way. Thank you, Quentin Lucas. And went to this woman and said, let me help you. Let me do this. Oh, Anita, we have this under control, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, 26 days before it was due, I called up this very six-figure high person down at City Hall and asked her, is there anything I can do to help? Oh, we're not going to do that this year. We're going to try. So I'm like, wait a minute. It only comes around every 2 years.
Wow.
It'll be 2019 before it comes around and we'll be able to apply again.
Right.
So I just got off the phone with her and I'm like, you know what? Let me take a look at this. I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 26 days on a 22-page application, international application, that was restricted by characters, not words, characters, to paint the picture of why Kansas City deserves to be one of the creative cities of music. I used our jazz heritage and all kinds of wonderful things in that thing, right?
Yes.
Well, as a lot of people here know and a lot don't, the daggum thing was submitted and it won.
Yep.
And then we find out Kansas City is the only creative city of music in the United States under UNESCO. And in the same year, your president, number 45, took us out of UNESCO as a country. So conceivably, our designation could be the only creative city of music for a long time.
Wow.
So we're the only creative city of music under UNESCO in the United Nations. We're it.
See, y'all, and this is what we have. This is what you all are listening to. And this is the reason why I fully support Miss Dixon. Whenever she calls, she got a chair. Very few people can say, Lene, I got some people right now and they probably watching. I want to be on your show. No, because you're not. I like people who have action behind their words and people who are not afraid to speak up. And you see what she did is very powerful. And like she said, since he removed the U.S. from UNESCO, we got this standing for a long time. For a very long time.
And single-handedly, me and Jacob Wagner from the University of Missouri, Kansas City, Urban Planning, have been shoring this thing up and traveling the world on our own money because the racist situation is so bad that these people at City Hall and various opportunities just will not admit that the black girl will put them in such a high position.
Y'all got to find the commercial, y'all. She's telling the truth. She's not mentioned in the commercial at all. They make it seem like the city did that work, and they didn't. They didn't. No. And this is another thing of what she was talking about Culture Vulture. She's also the only person who single-handedly, now this is federal, y'all. Music is now a trade. Music is a trade. Like you're an electrician and a plumber. Music.
Lene, I'm sorry.
You can you fine. Don't worry about it.
I know, right? I'm sorry, but I went to the Department of Labor because I'm working with the American Federation of Musicians nationally. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why don't we have an apprenticeship program? And they kind of like shrugging their shoulders. I said, well, let me go to DOL, get the number, and start an apprenticeship program. Well, I go to the DOL and find out there is no number for musicians. So I'm told by the Department of Labor, well, musicians are considered to be a profession. Considered to be an occupation, not a profession.
Wow.
Like, that doesn't even make sense.
And I would have said it's an occupation and not a profession, but if I call in, I get waiting music.
Right. Look, just think about erasing music from your life for 5 minutes.
Man, come on now.
5 minutes. So I'm sitting up here. It took me 3.5 years to convince the Department of Labor that not only are musicians an apprenticeship or a trade, it should be treated like you give money to plumbers and stuff. Why are all these education programs in music and stuff being lost in our public school system while they decimate the money from our public schools and things like that?
Right.
So in the research, you find out that there was never a need for one because the public school system taught music from kindergarten till you got out. You were in the marching band.
Yeah.
You were something.
Yeah.
So
and they erased it in the 90s.
But there was never an opportunity to treat it as an apprenticeship because everything was live. You learn that as you got a job in a band or something like that. But the last 40 years have taken that all away from us.
Sure
and the crack epidemic decimated our community so badly that the live music scene was killed.
You're right.
Killed. So here we have this opportunity, but nobody. So finally, I got kicked out of that application 14 times in 3.5 years.
Wow.
Until finally, I sent in the last time for the 14th time. They kicked me out again and told me, I said, well, what's the reason this time? Girl told me, well, you didn't indent your paragraph.
Whoa.
I got on a plane. I got me a plane to my husband told me. I was so mad. I was screaming and yelling. He said, get a ticket, go to D.C., cuss them out, and get this thing like you do. Go do your thing.
He said, go do your thing. Go do what you do.
Go do your thing. And I kind of looked at him like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So then I went to D.C. and I met with the chief of staff of Roy Blunt's office.
Wow.
Republican.
Wow.
Who happens to be in charge of apprenticeships with the Department of Labor. So that's when I find out that these Democrats and these Republicans play such games with the lives of people. So over here in the Department of Labor, you got union and Democrats. And over here in the Republican, it's a Republican Congress. So people playing games with the lives of our people, our musicians.
It's one big game.
They just didn't want me to have it.
Wow.
So we don't pretend like you don't matter. I'm like, okay. So I meet with the department. I meet with so-and-so, Roy Blunt's office, and they say, and I have an appointment the next day with the Department of Labor. So I go to the Department of Labor, and they give me this bad attitude when I first come in. And the head of this and the head of that, they're all sitting at the table with a stack that's 4 inches or better tall of my applications of the last 3.5 years. But I got one better. I got copies of those copies.
I know that's right.
And I put together a thing like, why did you kick me out of this? So that God gives me attitude. That is fixing. This is so unorthodox. And we don't think this is. I said, hold on. Hold on. I got my telephone. I called the office of Roy Blunt's office, the Republicans, and got his chief of staff. I said, she wanted to be in on this conversation, gentlemen.
Woo!
So let's do this.
They wasn't ready.
Let's do this. Because I'm at my wit's end.
Yes.
Let's do this. Girl, look, if attitudes didn't change on a dime, the head dude just folded his stuff and walked out the door and left it to his minions.
What?
Then I turned around and looked at them. I said, so where are we going? So the head of staff, chief of staff of Roy Blunt's office says, so gentlemen, you have all you need to have. When are we going to get Miss Dixon this apprenticeship? And the guy said, 1690. She said, 90 days, perhaps before this. She said, how about 30 days?
Uh-oh.
That might be a little soon, but we might go 24 days later.
Wow.
I got the letter in the mail.
Wow.
After much consideration, we have decided that, yes, musicians is an apprenticeable profession.
And I want to say this before you finish. To all musicians who have signed up for the KUAW on unemployment, Y'all need to write Miss Dixon a thank you, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure that they would not have even considered you all for a PUA, knowing that you do not have an employer, even though you're 1099.
Mm-hmm.
You would not have, musicians would not have been considered for a PUA had you not
They
been
were
a
not.
legal federal you profession. You would
Profession. Label.
profession. You would not have been considered for the PUA had you not had been a legal federal profession that now has an
That's right.
apprenticeship program. So Miss Dixon
That's
is the
right.
one to thank. And that's nationwide. Everyone who can apply for the PUA unemployment. That affects what she did helped you all. I thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you. And I ain't even a
Hey,
musician. My
but
son's a
the
musician.
sister,
So,
hey, look, they doing commercials. Oh, let's go this, but won't give me a dime
right.
to help promote what I'm doing. But you know what? I'm not even mad about that because you know what it comes down to? You're either who you are or you either are not.
That's true.
And it has dawned on me that it has never been my mission in life to make money at this. It's just happening that way.
Right, right.
It's just happening that way. I don't live badly. My husband is a very, very smart guy. And, luckily, he loves me.
Yes, yes.
So I'm allowed quite a few things that, and as they say, to whom much is given, much is required.
Absolutely.
So I've been able
Absolutely.
to sit back and take a look at this thing because I have grandchildren. And blessedly, they might have grandchildren.
Yes.
Something needs to be put in place by somebody.
Yes.
And it just so happens that somebody is me.
And you know what? I appreciate it and I thank you. And you just said something very powerful. You said, I have grandchildren. And you said they will have grandchildren. And see, that's the kind of vision that we need for our community, not what we can get and what we can do right now, but looking, 100 and 200 years into the future. What can we set up? What can be perpetual? Because I don't know if you read that article from Boston. I think I saw that on your page. The article from Boston that said the net worth of the Black community in Boston right now is $8.
$8.
$8. This was in the New York Times, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age, the net worth of the Black people, the total of all of us in Boston, is $8. That's ridiculous. But that's because we
were bred to be consumers.
Consumers, absolutely.
We were bred out of our entrepreneurial opportunities.
Yeah. And
yeah. And when some of us dared to get out and make an entrepreneurial opportunity for our communities, our store, we did a store, we had hair salons, we did, and it started to grow, and we turned into a Black Wall Street. They bombed us.
Yep. And
then we looked up in 1985 and moved people. They were building that kind of structure again, and they bombed it.
And
because you must have a perpetual working class.
Absolutely. And even in Kansas City, I was privileged. She's an elder, so I'm pretty sure that she's an ancestor now. I was privileged when I started I was the first 100% minority, which is Black, woman-owned company to contract with the state of Missouri for NEMT, and I was just in my 20s. And me and her were talking, and she knew all about the non-emergency medical transportation business. That's just the people take you to and from your doctor's offices. And I didn't realize that every time she got in my car, she went to dialysis 3 times a week. And she would always tell me about transportation, and I would be taking it in and go home and write down everything she said. And finally, she told me that her and her husband, this is a Black woman, were the first school bus company in Kansas City. And they were talked into collaborating. Some white businessmen came in and said, let us help you, blah, 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 blah. And her exact words was, you better not trust them so-and-so and such is with your business, because they gonna cut your throat. She said by the time they got done with them, with their business, not only did they take all the routes they had established and everything, they came in promising money at the end of the school year, you're going to see this much, but not only did they take all their routes, they on paper stole their entire business. Stole their entire business on paper. And that's the kind of things that we endure when we set up business. And now it's to the point that, and I'm just going to say this, I had an experience in a dump truck, and I was driving a dump truck, and I guess this man assumed that I was the owner of the dump truck, and he tore that man's dump truck up. The loader, he tore that man's dump truck up to where the gate wouldn't even open all the way, and I'm dragging the pile. Instead of the gate opening up and making a big old tall cone-shaped pile, my stuff is drug across the ground like I'm dragging gravel and dirt across the ground so they can even it out. Why? Because he saw a black woman in a truck, in a dump truck, on a lucrative contract, and he was going to shut it down that day. He was successful, but it wasn't my company. It was a white man's company that he tore up his truck. And that's the kind of things that we have to endure. And that's what Ms. Dixon is trying to make us aware of with everything that she's telling us about, everything she comes to us and tells us and lets us know. Be aware of these culture vultures. Be aware of this. Yes, we can do this,
but it's a game. It's a game to them.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with what is right, what is wrong. It is the game of feudalism.
Absolutely.
It is how they were raised for centuries.
Yes.
Fight each other. Take your stuff. The only type of communal situation was in Africa. Y'all
that's
can
it.
talk all the trash you want to.
Yep, that's it.
Okay? But that's where the origins of community, village, and all those stuff came. The feudal system of pilfering, raping, stealing, and stuff was a European type concept.
It's a Europe.
You know what?
I tell people it's a Eurasian concept. Yes, it is.
Okay, but you know what? Lord, if they don't go out and get them a few black folks to join in with that.
Absolutely.
Your Django's, your Ben Carson's, your...
Oh, we got one in Kansas City. I want to call them out so bad, but I ain't trying to do that to the station. But we got one in Kansas City. We got one bad in Kansas City. And I think I'm going to tell you... I'm going to tell you who the one I'm talking about is. And woo.
Which one?
I'm just going to say it's somewhere down there by the musicians local.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
Woo, I mean, come on now. You know, some of the stuff that was said.
I got you.
Woo,
yeah.
I just, and I realize it's not so much as wanting to run behind massa, but being about I and me and your pockets, and you willing to step over a dollar for a dime, and that's how they get our people, because they get those of us who are so greedy that they can't see in the long run that if they're giving you a dime, they getting $20.
What girl say in the movie? She said, "You're so dumb that you could be looking for. It could be raining $100 bills, and you'd be looking for a dime you lost somewhere."
Absolutely, and that's what happens with our people.
We deal with.
Yes.
But because of the wickedness of the thought of white supremacy.
Yes.
And the inability for them to realize that my brain is superiorly functioning.
Absolutely.
Because I've worked on it. I've listened. I'm compassionate. I do those things not because I'm black and I'm trying to be better than you.
Right.
It's the fact that this is how Anita Dixon is wired.
Absolutely.
Okay? Now, if you're wired to be a go along to get along, that's your business.
That's your business. Yep.
I don't care. But don't bring that mess over here trying to make me accept it.
Absolutely, because that's not how I am. Absolutely.
But like our real first lady, Michelle Obama, said the other day, she said, "You guys are listening to these people, and these people aren't all
and
that
they
smart.
aren't even that smart." That's exact. And I have sat in, and it's 8:55. This conversation got so good. So I'm gonna say this because we got to get going. But thank you, Miss Anita Dixon. But I'm gonna say this real quick. I have sat in high corporate boardrooms, and I've then put my pen down and look like, oh, I'm sitting amongst idiots. But it's just the money that got them, and it's who they knew that got them in that position. And that's why I tell people, a lot of people will be like, oh, you'll just walk up to the president and tell him what to do. Because I know half the people in them higher positions don't know nothing. I know more than they do.
Let's end this like this. If you are not finding a way to be relevant to your people, because if you are black, that is the only purpose you serve. How are you going to be relevant to your people? Are you going to be going on to get along, or are you going to get out here and make a difference and so you can keep your job so you can be relevant in your community? Which are you going to be?
Miss Anita Dixon.
That's my consultant freebie for the night.
Thank you, Miss Anita Dixon on the Lene Gray Show, KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's first global community radio station. I will see you all next Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you. All
right.
Bye-bye.
See you.
See you.